When you're creating a character, something you might notice about trolls, both regular and Zandalari, is their ability to regenerate. A friend of mine noticed this and came to me wanting to know more about it from a lore point of view. So today we ask, what is troll regeneration? Now, it has to be said that, obviously, a troll's regeneration cycle is not the same as everyone else's. For example, when it comes to me and you, when you get a cut, depending on how big it is, it might take several days to several weeks to heal. Now, if it's a large gash, you might need stitches, and it might take even longer. And then if you lose a limb, well, it's gone for good. The same goes for the races on Azeroth. If a dwarf gets a cut, if a Draenei gets a cut, it heals at a rate we would consider normal. The same goes for elves, humans, orcs, Vulpera, etc., etc. But for trolls, well, if you wanted to talk about something overpowered, troll regeneration is one of the most OP things to exist in the game's lore. For example, a troll, regardless of who they are, what kind of troll they are, they can recuperate from cuts, gashes, and stabbings almost instantaneously. Meaning that if you're fighting a troll and you leave a gash in his chest, he might stand up and naturally just undo the wound in mere seconds. But this regeneration process doesn't stop at simple cuts or big gashes. As I said, if you were to, for example, lose a lung in combat, it would be gone forever and you would probably die. But a troll is able to regenerate missing organs as well as broken bones and missing limbs, not as quick as simple cuts, but quick enough to merit concern for whoever decides to fight a troll. Again, trolls are just overpowered, but that's not to say they don't have their weaknesses. As we've seen in the past, there are certain poisons, elements, and curses that can slow and or completely cut off a troll's ability to regenerate. The biggest example of this is vol'jin. Twice. Once, on the orders of Garrosh Hellscream, vol'jin was slit in the throat with a dagger coated in a special poison that slowed his regeneration process, but wasn't strong enough to outright kill him. Then later, vol'jin took a blade to the chest on the Broken Shore, which he failed to recover from. Considering that the weapon was Legion made, I can only assume that trolls are weak to either Fell Slate, Fell Fire, or that the Legion coat their weapons in a poison similar to the one used on vol'jin before. But if I had to guess, I would say trolls probably suffer from a weakness to Fell Fire or Fell Slate, just like most other races. Now, going back to the actual process of regeneration, if you are familiar with early Warcraft lore, you might know there is a discrepancy when it comes to trolls and regeneration. And it has to be mentioned because it makes the regen process, at least to me, so much more interesting. Zul'jin of the Amani, warlord and former affiliate of the Old Horde, had both his eye and his arm severed during and after the Second War. As we should know, Zul'jin survived his injuries and went on to cause problems during the Burning Crusade, but his wounds did not heal. When we battle him in Zul'jin, Zul'jin's eye and his arm are still missing despite his ability to regenerate them. Now, to my knowledge, Zul'jin was not poisoned when the Quel'Drai took his eye, and he definitely didn't poison himself when he cut off his own arm. I've seen it said he might have been cursed by Aloa and lost his ability to regenerate, but there's really no solid evidence of that being the case. So if I had to guess, the most logical option is maybe a troll's regen cycle is a conscious choice rather than a natural bodily function. For example, Zul'jin might have chose not to regenerate his arm or his eye to better serve as a constant reminder to the Amani and to himself of what the elves put him through so their hatred never dies. And as a non-Zul'jin example, it is said that in order to make sure a troll stays dead, you need to chop off the head, implying that a troll could feign death and regenerate when he believes he is no longer in danger, and that the process doesn't actually start immediately. Zalazane and his many deaths over the years is proof of this being the case. Instead of regenerating immediately, he applied some sort of hex, tricked us into thinking he was dead, only to get up and recuperate once we were gone. So all in all, Regeneration on a whim is pretty overpowered. Trolls are pretty overpowered. Maybe not by a gameplay stance, but from a lore standpoint, it might be safer to befriend a troll rather than fight one. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns regarding this video, Warcraft, or its lore, you can leave them in the comment section down below, and I'll be sure to read each and every one of them. Thanks for watching.